Welcome to the Modern Nomad Podcast. If you question your current reality and want to escape the 9-to-5 grind, then this is the show for you. And now your host, me.
Welcome back to the Modern Nomad Podcast. My name is Kyle Kennedy, and in today's show, we're going to be talking to the first-time van lifers, the ones that are wanting to build a van, what to look for, if you're wanting someone to actually build the van for you, who to look for, and what to look for in their build quality. But first, I want to talk about internet. So you've noticed I have not had a podcast in the past month, basically because I had a T-Mobile hotspot that just was not working. I have not been able to actually interview van lifers, content creators, people that are out there living the nomadic lifestyle. So someone noticed on my Instagram or TikTok, whichever one it was, that the internet has been shoddy. So they decided to send me this. This is Nomad Internet. This is a modem, and it came with this really cool power brick. So I can literally have power to my internet unit anywhere I want to go. This is not a sponsored ad. They just sent it to me, and I'm going to be doing a review on it here in the next week or so. So be looking for that on YouTube. So let's get into the show. All right. So what I'm about to discuss, I really wish I could have found before I purchased my van, before I built it out, before I even looked into the van life thing. There are so many misleading videos all over the internet as to how to build your van. There's a lot of people that are telling you how to build a van when they don't know how to build a van, which is why when I was doing TikTok and doing my first build, I was not saying I was a professional. I was literally learning as I go. And when I did, I showed you guys that I messed up when I messed up. And it happened a lot because when you're building stuff and you have no idea what you're doing, you're going to mess up. Like I messed up my countertops. I messed up the electrical. I messed up the roof. I messed up my water. It's going to happen because it's your first time. You may do it perfectly the first time, so others aren't. So when you're looking for a vehicle, I honestly recommend going with a high roof. It's very uncomfortable. Like the ambulance that I've been working in over at UDO Vans, it's like 5'10". I am 6 foot tall, and I'm walking around with my head crunched over, and it is super uncomfortable. I highly recommend a high roof van if you're going to be living in this full time. Now, if this is an adventure rig and it's just going to be for the weekends and you need a place to stay, I would recommend, honestly, the Mercedes 4x4 low roof. That thing is dope, and you can take it anywhere that you want to. It's a very good, not top-heavy vehicle that is perfect for overlanding. But when you're going with the high roof vehicles, there's 3 options here. So it all plays into your budget. It plays into whether or not you're going to be going off-roading, whether or not you're a really tall person. So the 3 different types of high roofs obviously are going to be your Sprinter, your Ford Transit, and the Dodge, or it's actually not Dodge anymore, it's the Ram ProMaster. So I currently live in a Sprinter. It was my best option because I enjoy the Mercedes, basically because it has a good high roof. I can stand up in it. The only thing that I don't like about it is I could not sleep side to side, meaning from head on the wall to feet on the wall, without adding like a flare space or a capsule or anything like that. But when you do add those, they look killer. So it adds some look to the vehicle, which I ended up liking it. So I went with a Sprinter, and obviously the turbo diesel. I went with that one because it is going to last a lot longer. You can put several 100,000 miles on it and it'll be fine because diesel motors run a lot longer than the gas motors. Now, if you're someone who's tall and you don't want to add in the bump outs and all the things, the crazy stuff, you can go with the Ram ProMaster because it is the widest vehicle that you can get. It is very good on gas mileage, and it's very easy to build out because it's basically a box. It is not the hardest project that you will run into. Now, the hardest project is the Ford Transit. I don't know why this vehicle is so difficult for a lot of people. I have never built one, but I have heard so many horror stories about people trying to build out Ford Transits that it's a very difficult build, but it is the tallest one. You can literally stand up inside of it if you're over 6 foot tall, and that's a big perk because there's a lot of you guys that are over 6 feet tall. So if we're going to be going with something that's not a high roof, you want to go with a little bit of a more budget-friendly vehicle, I highly recommend the older Chevys or the Rams. These things they look super cool. Like the old Chevy G20s. If you can get one of those and make it look good, that thing is a workhorse. It can do whatever you want, but the bad thing is when you're thinking about budget, when it comes to purchasing the vehicle price, you need to think about maintenance because on older vehicles, obviously, they're going to be costing quite a bit in upkeep. And the gas mileage really is not good. You're going to be getting like 10, 12 miles a gallon, whereas my Sprinter gets anywhere between 17 to 25, depending on how I'm driving and where I'm driving. Like, that adds up. Gas prices, I'm in California, $7 a gallon right now, which I know back home where I'm from in Oklahoma is like $3.50. It's about half the price. But you have to think about that as well. Gas prices are going to be ridiculous, so I highly recommend the newer vehicles just for that fact. And you're going to get a much better quality vehicle in that point. Now we'll move on to the point where you have your van, you have decided to do a DIY van build, and it's honestly one of the scariest projects ever because it's not just a one size fits all. You are taking on so many different hats at this time. You're going to be a bodywork person, cutting holes in the roof of the van. You're going to be a carpenter. You're going to be a painter. You're going to be an electrician. You're going to be a plumber. These are all things that people go to school for years and spend money on the trade. But you have to teach yourself and learn it on YouTube. Now, I can say there are a ton of misleading YouTube videos about van building, so you're going to waste a lot of time searching for the right videos. One person that I actually recommend was 70 Savage. I watched his videos a lot when I was starting my first van build. He is very good at explaining what he's doing, and he shows you what he's doing, which is really good. But there are also a lot of other van lifers out there that have made building content, including some professionals that do it, which is why I personally want to continue to do my 2-Minute Tuesday videos on YouTube, because I don't like spending 30 minutes watching a video and then coming out of it and actually not having any idea of what they were talking about or what was going on. So I want to be straight to the point. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, we're going to be telling you exactly how to do something, and if it's not in full detail, you can always ask questions because I answer them in the comments and I help people out as much as I can. But with the misleading ones, you just got to sift through them for a little while and figure out what you actually want and how you're going to do it. So if you're like me and you want to skip pretty much all of the YouTube videos and just get straight to the point and learn from somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, Project Vanlife, I didn't know that they had this when I first started building my van, but they have an entire course led by professional van builders that teach you exactly what to do from step 1 to step 385, whatever number it is. But I believe it's like 40 videos. They teach you exactly how to do it. This is not a sponsored ad for them. I just really like what they're doing, and it's a good course from what I've heard, and I highly recommend it. Just go to Project Vanlife's Instagram page. They have a link in there, and it'll help you out. I swear it'll help you out. And I think it's like $99. It's really not that bad. But if you think about it, $99 versus spending 3 weeks of research for one project, don't do it. Go over to Project Vanlife and do that. So now I want to talk to the people who have possibly a little bit of extra money, don't want to deal with the DIY van build, and want someone to build their van for them. I can tell you there are a ton of van builders all over the nation, and more pop up, I feel like, every single day. So something to look for, just based off of my experience throughout like the Adventure Van Expo events that I've gone to, the Tiny Fests, all of these events show off van builders or bus builders, RV builders, tiny house builders. I can tell you that there are so many builders that do everything so different. Like there are companies that build vans that look like RVs, and they're very impractical. In the inside of them, you can tell that whoever designed this, whoever built this, they've never lived in a van. They don't know the functionality. They don't know the movement. They don't know the feng shui, if you want to call it that. And then there are tons of van builders who still live in their vans, such as myself. I'm not a pro, I can tell you that. I'm a semi-pro, still learning. But there are a bunch of DIY van builders claiming to be professional, and it's very clear once you see their work. So what you want to look for. Don't look for Instagrammable vans. I can tell you there are so many people who are building vans that look incredible on Instagram, on YouTube. But if you get into their work, a lot of them are just trash, and they're impractical, and they're not put together very well. They fall apart. I've seen a few builders that I know, things fall off of their vehicles, catch fire, people get sued over their vans, and I'm not going to name any names, but there are a lot of them. There's a lot of DIYers, like I said, that are claiming to be professional. So it's really, really important that you have to vet who is building your vehicle. So when I got out of the DIY space, I finished my vehicle. What did I want to do? I enjoyed building vans so much that I wanted to learn more. So I found somebody who was a professional carpenter, professional builder. I wanted to learn from them. I have spent the past year learning from him, and I still don't feel like I'm a professional. When you have some of these people who have built one van and decide that they're going to start a van building company, those are the people you do not want to go with. So something to look for. Google reviews, go on there. I'm sure these van companies have a ton of Google reviews talking about how great they are. They all got 5 stars. skip straight to the 1 and 2 stars. Why do they get 1 and 2 stars? Did they have an electrical fire? Is things not lining up the way that they wanted to as a van? Is it just difficult to work with them? I can tell you that there are very difficult people to work for. People feel like they're entitled to your money because they're building a van. You are deciding for them what the van's going to look like. You're trying to get a work together kind of moment. And if they don't work with you, you don't want to work with them. So some of the professionals that I actually recommend, a lot of them are on the West Coast and the East Coast. There's really not too many in the actual Midwest. I'm currently in San Diego. Obviously, there's a ton here. This is like Vanlife hub. So many people out here building. There's a lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones, and I can tell you there's probably that on the East Coast as well. Here's something to think about when you're trying to hire someone to build something for you. There are things called custom van builders, and there are van builders who do pretty much IKEA furniture and put it inside of a vehicle. So those are the ones that are using CNC machines. Those are the ones that are basically doing the same layout. Pretty much everybody who ever buys these vans, they all have the same van, maybe a different color, different woods, but it is the same layout. It's the same everything with slight changes. So I don't recommend those because they're cheaply made. They cost a lot. Like, it may cost them $20,000 to do the build, but they're going to upcharge you about $100,000. It's ridiculous. Now, when you go with a custom van builder, you get to work with them on layout, paint colors, woods, anything, all of everything that you want can go into this vehicle. So find a custom van builder. This is what I say. I tell you, find a custom van builder, not because I am one, but because if you want to live in comfort, you want something that you helped to design, that you know you wanted. Because I know when I first started in van life, I had no idea what I wanted, but the more that I got into the scene, I knew more and more about pretty much the layouts, what I wanted. They can recommend you some pretty crazy stuff too. Like when I work with Dave, he knows a lot more about layouts and design and all that stuff that I've learned like from him, but he knows more than anybody that I've ever actually like talked to, because he has all these crazy ideas, but they're not just ideas. He can do it. He can make it work. So find a custom van builder that will take your crazy ideas, come to you with a design, and then make it happen. That's what you want. Custom van build all day, not the prefab IKEA furniture vans. You don't want that. So let's take it back a bit and talk about budgeting, because you can literally start van life for basically nothing. You have a vehicle, hop in it, do whatever you want, do a minimal build, just a platform bed, an old refrigerator, that's 12 volt, plugs into the cigarette lighter. That's all you need. If you want to live the van life and you want to live it now, go ahead and do that. But if you have a good budget, vans like mine will probably sell for around like $85,000 to $95,000, but I only spent $60,000 on the build. DIY obviously saves you money. If you do it well, you can profit off of it. But if you're going to be going with a professional van build, just know that they're probably going to only want to work with Mercedes, or some of them honestly only work with Mercedes. They won't even take a Ram. They won't take a Ford Transit. They won't take anything other than that. With ours at UDO, we take anything. Like I said, we're building an ambulance. We have a box truck. We've done Mercedes. We've done a older Econoline, and they all turn out freaking cool. But you have to really think about this. Your budget, when you're going to a professional, it's probably going to be a minimum of $80,000 as a build. So they're going to want a lot of money. Basically, you're going to want to have a lot of money as well, because once you're done with that, you're going to be wanting money to travel. And if you spent all your money on your van, like I did in the very beginning, I didn't get to travel as much as I wanted to. I had to build up my finances to travel. So definitely think about that. When you're thinking about your budget, don't think about just the van. Think about what you want to do after. Because when you get the van, it looks really good, but it doesn't look as good in your driveway as it does out on the mountains. All right, everyone, I hope that was some fun information for you. When you're thinking about getting into van life, your first DIY, or getting a van built for you, I hope this helped you. If it did, leave a comment below. If it didn't, leave a comment below and tell me I suck, because I'd like to know if I need to move forward with some different ideas, because van building is just there's so many people misleading others, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So please don't get misled. If you have questions about some van builders that you should use, drop a comment below. I will help you out. I will help you find somebody that will help you build a van. Or if you have DIY questions, I'm open to that as well. So just drop a comment in the comment section, obviously. And that is it for the show. Guys, if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. You're helping me grow my YouTube channel, and I really appreciate you. If you're listening to it on audio on Apple or Spotify, I appreciate you guys as well, because this is a new podcast. I'm trying to grow it up because I actually enjoy talking and giving information as much as I can, as well as interviewing my friends and fellow van lifers. It is such a blessing to be in this lifestyle, and I hope you guys have an incredible week. I will see you all next week.